How many slaves are there right now today in Africa, Bol?
We have about 9.2 million slaves in Africa. In South Sudan alone, we have 200,000 slaves in South Sudan.
220,000 slaves.
In South
Amazing.
Sudan.
Just
now,
one country.
Yet one country while I'm talking to you right now, yes. That's what is going on in the country. If the Black Lives Matter, they care about the black people, I think they should protest in front of Libya embassy. And they should go also to Saudi Arabia embassy. And they should also protest in front of the United Nations building. And they have to do this to stop the slavery in the Middle East, because the slavery is still going on in the Middle East right now while I'm talking to you. And
children,
as well as North Africa.
Wives, women, little girls, little boys, and men.
Together. Yes, the men, women, and children. And they make sometimes the woman to be their wife.
You're listening to Quorum Radio on WRMI 5850 kilohertz.
We're on now with Bol Gai Deng. Bol Gai Deng is a former African slave. Bol Gai, tell me, what is life like when you're a slave?
It's horrible. You get beat up. They put chain in your leg. Sometimes you don't have food to eat for days. So there's nothing good about it.
So is it true that you survive eating garbage from garbage cans?
Yes.
And how old were you?
I was about 7 at that time.
7 years old. So
yes.
You were sold by a Muslim, sold to a Muslim. And how often were you beaten?
I was kidnapped by the Muslim and sold to the Muslim.
And how many times were you beaten, do you think?
Sometimes 3 times a day, 5 times a day.
And what did they use to beat you?
They have a stick, a big stick. Whatever they can grab and put their hand on, they can beat you with.
Wow. So then this is your daily life. And where did you sleep?
Sometimes you sleep with wherever you find a place to sleep within the house, but you don't have a blanket sometimes. You can sleep on the floor.
Right. And did they chain you up?
Yes.
So you were chained like an animal, like a dog, right?
Indeed. That's what they do. They lock you down so you cannot go anywhere. They thought that you may run away, or they do that as a way of discipline to beat you and put the chain in your leg until maybe you'll be able to collaborate with them.
Right. And let me ask you a question. So were your parents killed?
Yes, actually, my mom was beat up until she paralyzed and she died later. My dad also, during the time of all this crisis and war been going on in the country, yes, my dad died, yes, doing some wound and so many things, yes. Both of my friends are no longer alive.
Wow. And so what do you have to say to Black Lives Matter? They have huge protests. What do you have to say to them?
I don't believe that Black Lives Matter, that they're doing a good thing for the Black community. If they are willing to stand up for Black Lives Matter, I think they should also stand up for slave life. It should be matter to them as well. But I don't think that they're interested to protect the slave.
How many slaves are there right now today in Africa? Well,
we have about 9.2 million slaves in Africa. In South Sudan alone, we have 200,000 slaves in South Sudan.
220,000 slaves. Amazing.
Sudan,
just now, one country.
Yet one country while I'm talking to you right now, yes. That's what is going on in the country.
So let me ask you a question. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'm good.
I was going to ask you, when you came to America, what was it like compared to Africa?
There's no comparison. You come to the light because actually you've been a slave in your own country. You come to America to be protected or be safe, or at least to have something to eat, like food and jobs and clothes to wear. You have a car to drive. You have a TV to watch. So there's so much in America that where I come from, there's nothing there. So America was a miracle to me. A miracle was a big dream. As soon as I got here, it turned my life around.
So do you think so? It's a miracle to you. So have you been mistreated? Have you been discriminated against?
Not so much, no. As far as I've been in America for 20 years, I've been treated fairly. I've been seen as a citizen. I've been seen as a human being across the line, across the board, black and white together. We live as brothers and sisters. Sometimes we have differences, but it does not mean that we don't generalize. It's not a generalization like, okay, you have an issue with one individual. Let's say a black man, you take it as an individual, but we never have any situation where we see white and black issue. No, I don't see that in Virginia so far since I've been here.
Right, right. So what do you say to these thousands of people that are protesting to Black Lives Matter? What should they do? Are they focused on the right problems?
I don't think so. I think the problem of police officer, or maybe the police brutality in America, is one issue, and that should be dealt with through justice system. The men already have been arrested, have been put in jail. Their case is well handled. The issue in Black Lives Matter, I think, if they want to address this issue, I think there's a way that we can address it. But I don't think that they're interested to solve the problem, because most of them actually they have a political agenda. In the individual involved in Black Lives Matter, I think a lot of them have a political agenda. They have their own interests, not the black people interests.
Yeah. Do you feel like they don't care about slavery in Africa?
No, they don't care about slavery at all. Strongly believe that no one cares about slavery in Africa, even though the ancestors of blacks in America, most of us, our ancestors come from Africa. A lot of us here in America don't feel like we relate to Africa. A lot of us that we see some issues of Africa do not concern to us. And that is the situation we're living in.
Right.
The fact that black folks, the ancestors was sold by the Arabian to the Europeans 400 years ago. Now we forgot that history. We're talking about the situation of the United States. And actually, we did not actually address the root cause. The root cause exactly, there was somebody that kidnapped the African in the village and put them to the markets. But we left that person, and we're talking about somebody that have been sold the people to. So we're talking about European, actually people have been sold to them. But those who actually kidnapped the black in the village, like I was kidnapped by myself, and I know who kidnapped me.
Who kidnapped you? Who kidnapped you?
I know who kidnapped me. So it was not a white man kidnapped me, and also my mom can tell you that, and my daddy can tell you that, and my grandfather can tell you that. It's been going on for centuries.
And who kidnaps the black slaves in Africa?
The Arab slave trades. The Arab, majority of them Arab Muslim, who come and kidnap the African and sell them to the European and sell them to whoever they sell them to. But actually people who actually come and attack African, they are not European, they're Arabs from Arabian Peninsula.
Today, in 2020.
And actually, by the way, before, even in 9th century, let me tell you, these people, they've been enslaved in Africa since 9th century. When European arrived to Africa, it was poor. The European arrived to Africa in 14th century. So they've been doing slavery in 9th century. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And they're still now enslaving Africa. They never stop. And by the way, they did not abolish slavery in their countries. Slavery is not abolished. It still goes on. In the Middle East. Oh, it's still going on. Slavery is not abolished in the Middle East.
So which countries? Okay. So you think do you agree that Black Lives Matter should protest outside of embassies in the United States of African countries?
If the Black Lives Matter, they care about the black people, I think they should protest in front of Libya embassy. And they should go also to Saudi Arabia embassy. And they should also protest in front of the United Nations building. And they have to do this to stop the slavery in the Middle East, because the slavery is still going on in the Middle East right now while I'm talking to you. And children, as well as North Africa.
Wives, women, little girls, little boys, and men.
Together. Yes, the men, women, and children. And they make sometimes the women to be their wives.
They force them.
They force them, yes, of course. If you're a slave and you are a woman, what would you do? You're always vulnerable
Sure.
to sexual abuse, and that's what they do.
So, and what do you say to Grandmaster Jay of the NFAC, who has, hundreds of followers with weapons? They want to fight injustice. They want to fight oppression against Black people. What's your invitation to Grandmaster Jay?
Grandmaster Jay should contact me, because if you're concerned about Black Lives Matter, I'm also Black. I am Black, okay? And also, by the way, I am Black American as well. So I think we should have a negotiation and talk, and reach out to me, or I can reach out to him and say we have to address this issue. This is the root cause. This is what's going on right now. And I think
So you want Grandmaster Jay to bring his followers to Africa and fight against African slavery?
we would welcome them. We would love to have them. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
Well,
we would love to have them, and I would love to actually to go with them in the trips together.
to
I'm not going to
Africa.
let them go by themselves. I will exactly direct them where we can go.
Right. So where would you guys go? Libya,
We will go to Libya.
North
yes, indeed.
Sudan?
We'll go to Libya, we'll go to North Sudan. And we'll go to Mauritania as well.
Thousands, tens of thousands of African slaves in Libya, Mauritania,
Sudan.
in South Sudan, taken from South Sudan to North Sudan.
Yep.
Right. So maybe 500,000 slaves, maybe more. Well, that's great. So then you think that basically the solution to this is to get people involved in caring about much, much bigger issues than police brutality. How do they get in touch with you? What's your website? Bol Gai Deng.
KushDemocraticMajority.org. KDM. KUSH DemocraticMajority.org. That's the website. They can go
Kush DemocraticMajority.org. That's
Correct.
right. KushDemocraticMajority.org to talk to Bol Gai Deng, former African slave. Thank you very, very much for being on Quorum Radio, Bol Gai, and we look forward to talking with you again.
It was my pleasure for having me.
Thank you.